Bam, how's everybody doing? Apologies for missing you guys yesterday. Ended up having a couple of things pop up and just couldn't make it. So yesterday was it wasn't super exciting. So I don't think we missed too much. If I remember correctly, the morning was a little bit choppy, and then we had a nice move in the afternoon. And so what I was starting to do today, what I wanted to do is just look, kind of get a bigger picture. We normally just go right to the 5 minute and just stick there with the daily. But I want to look at the daily chart just to so you guys can kind of see what what the higher time frames are looking like and what price action is doing. Okay, so and I'm not gonna dig into this too much, but I want you to notice a couple things, right? One, and we talk about fair value gaps sometimes. It's our DR channel, but even at a higher time frame, right? Let's look back. This is back in early October. Actually, in September, we formed a fair value gap up here, a bearish one, all right? Which means that price wants to go down. And so what do you see? All right, we get up in there and then price choose down. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is that this stuff works on all the time frames. Just got to actually just pay attention to it. But what I also want you to notice is look where we are this week, right? So we started, if we look at this last red candle, that was our monthly sell side, right? So that was the month of September. I mean October, excuse me. That was our sell side, which happened to be, like almost like the last day or last couple of days of October. Um, and what we've done since then is we have just gone straight up every day. We've been green, 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 right? Even leading up to today, which is this big green candle here. So just keep an eye on stuff like that. So every once in a while, I gotta look at the bigger time frames. I normally do this on Sunday nights just to kind of get my bearings around where my buy sides and sell sides are. And you notice what I mark out is like the weeklies and the monthlies. I will do the daily, but I normally do that during the week, right? But on Sundays, I'll mark out a monthly and a weekly, just so I can see, where price has a tendency to go. Now, if you look at what we did, right, we marked out a monthly sell side here. We had a weekly buy side here, okay? Um, and let me just do it real quick. If I go to a weekly chart, let me turn this off. Didn't mean to go into this much detail, but I think it's important just to kind of focus on it, okay? So this red candle here was last week, right? This green candle is this week. And so why I'm saying that is why it's important is if you look at where our uh, sell side was and where our buy side was, and you see what's happened, right? We took out our buy side, okay? So those things become important because you can kind of start to set, like ranges of where you want to be, all right? Because if you look at this week, we're actually up 200, almost 200 points this week. And we still have tomorrow to go. Now, tomorrow, what may happen? Not sure. Right? We could actually, so let's go big picture for a second. This is a weekly chart, right? So we could actually go up here. What you see up here is we have a huge fair value gap that's bearish, right? Price wants to go that way. So what may happen, and if you pay attention, like, so we actually can actually go up here, and then at some point we'll turn around, okay? So since we've taken out this weekly buy side already, here's another weekly buy side up here. And so like what could happen is we could go up. Because remember what happens on buy side and sell side, they're like a nice reversal piece, right? A lot of times you actually act as support or resistance. And same thing with the fair value gap. So right here, I'm looking up here, I have two things I'm paying attention to, right? I'm paying attention to price going up here and hitting that inside that fair value gap. I'm also looking at it for it to take out that next buy side because then I have two things that are actually telling me that price may want to turn around, right? So I'm just watching that, okay? So way more than I want to go into, guys, and definitely not from a DR standpoint what we're talking about, but just again, higher price, higher time frame, kind of give you the bigger picture of what's happening in the market, all right? So we look at the daily again, you kind of see where we are. Again, now this week, this was that big green candle we were talking about a second ago, right? So we're going up this week. And even, tonight's candle, the London, the Asian session has started with a little bit of an uptick, all right? So, but nothing to write home about yet. Okay, so big picture, we're on a uptrend. Okay. All right, so let's go and let me get rid of that. And let's go back down to what we're used to seeing, which is our 5 minute. Okay. And we'll look at what we did today. Let me unscrunch this up. Sorry about that. Okay. So today was interesting. There was only one real DR trade today. Plenty of trades, but only one DR trade. Okay. And let's talk about it really quick. So range wise, again, it's one of those days where we had a range that went from, let's see, 49.94 up to 43.12. So what's that, about 20 something points? Now, what I want you to notice is how price formed that. And I will try to make this quick, but when we went up and we came back down, right? So now our range was kind of here for most of the setup time, right? We had that range, which was I think it was a little less than 20 points. And so what I normally expect to happen is at the last, last 15 minutes or so, price will shoot up or shoot down to widen that range out, which is kind of what it did today, right? So hopefully that made sense. You can kind of see we were here. Sorry, we were here for most of the morning, and then the last few minutes we just shot up to actually widen that range out all the way up to here. Okay, so I just like watching how range forms because it kind of sometimes tells you a story. With this one, we can't get a bias off of that because of how we were kind of a little squiggly. But what we can say is because of that last move, okay, we might be going up today, right? That's like a last minute bias for me, right? Based on what happened in the last 15 minutes or so before DR set up. Okay, so we all right, so here's where it gets a little fun. And one of the things I called out once we confirmed high here, okay, saw two things that piqued my interest. One is we had a fair value gap. This one is bullish, means price wants to go up. Okay. And then also you look at where it was, look where it is, it was right above, right below IDR. Okay. So my immediate call once we confirmed here and all this started happening, I was like, well, I had an alert set here on DR high. I had an alert set here on IDR high, looking for it to pierce into this fair value gap. Okay, so I got confluence that price wants to go that way. All right, and so that's what happened. So I let it go. About 11:30, alert goes off. This alert goes off, and then this alert goes off. Okay, so first alert, second alert. All right, immediately I put my order on IDR. Okay, on the high side, immediately, right? No questions. Once the first alert, I started watching. Once the second alert hit, and it kept going down a little bit, immediately put my order there. Okay. Matter of fact, I already had it set up on my screen just to press the button. Okay, wasn't even no guessing for me, because I'm confident at that point that we're going to turn around. Now it may have kept going down here. It may have kept going down inside of the fair value gap, but I know eventually it's going to want to turn back around. So my order placed here, safe bet for me. Okay. Worst case, you get 5 points down and you get stopped out, but that's part of the deal, right? So again, we're in the trade now, and this was a really quick one, as you can see. So price came down, went back up. All right, this was a 10 pointer, very easy 10 pointer for me, because again, once it hit here, that was about 40, let's say 43.10, and 43.20 is right here. So literally, in that one, two, that third candle before it dropped, that was already out of the trade right there. Okay, I'm sorry for all the squigglies, but you guys can get the idea. Now, what I started seeing was a couple of things, right? So now we also have this little fair value gap right here. Okay, if you notice this fair value gap sitting here. Okay, again, bullish, price wants to go up. Now the one trade I did not take was this one right here, because again I'm out of my initial trade here. My second one, you notice how price came to this fair value gap and then rejected off of that to bounce back up. This was actually a nice trade if you would have taken that one. I did not take that one. What I did look at was, because I was like 10 points, I'm good. Then I started seeing action over here, right? Which means if we extend this candle, this fair value gap out, we start to see where, prices digging into that fair value gap. Eventually, I know it's going to move back up. So here's number two. This one was another, I want to say it's another 10 pointer right here. Because I got in, and I'll tell you, on these, I get in like at the top of the, so now I'm out of DR, right? So DR is done now. But just sort of just kind of show you, one of my comments today was, first two comments I had on my group today. One was, I'm waiting for this action to happen over here where I can get this confluence right there. So that was the first one. The second one was, man, the fair value gaps are really being really being recognized today, and they're being respected. Is really what I should say. And so if you look, if you take this one out over here, you see we come back into it, and then every time we go into it, we come back out of it, right? So that one gets me about again, so about 10 points here. All right, that's the second one. Third one, you see price come back down. Has another fair value gap that got formed here. Price comes down into it. Boom, same thing. Order at the top of the fair value gap. That one I think was another 5 pointer or so, or 6 points or 7 points. And then this one, last one I took was right here off of this last fair value gap that formed. Right, we had another fair value gap here. We actually had two, and price came down to this one, right? And all these were bullish, right? So that's what it's telling me. Price wants to go higher. This one was another 10 pointer. So at this point, so that's three. That's what, 4 trades or so here. Could have been 5. I was done. At 2 o'clock, I called it quits. I'm like, all right, I don't need to mess around with this anymore, because the only thing that could have happened that would have been good if price would have came back down and back into DR land and then turned back around again. But at that point, it'd been about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock ish, and I don't like to really trade around after 3 o'clock. So once I got up here at 2 o'clock, I was satisfied with the day, and just called it a quits right for the day. So that was the trades for the day. I know it's a little bit longer than I want it to be, so I apologize for that. But hopefully this was helpful. And again, we are DR focused. DR is my primary trading methodology I use. But again, I do use some ICT concepts, especially fair value gaps. I love fair value gaps. Don't ask me why. I see them very easily. I can know how to manipulate them. I know what to expect. I've been looking at them so long now. So anyway, so that was a relatively good day. Again, if you were a stickler for DR, and me, I'm a scalper by nature, right? So I like to get in and get out, right? That's just me. But if you were more of a long-term day trader, you could have got this trade right here and just held it, right? So think about it. All right, you could have gotten in here at 43.12 ish on the IDR, and by the time you're done, let's say you got out somewhere right before 4 o'clock, and you're at 43, 37, 38, somewhere in there. So what's that? 30 points, 20 something points. So not a bad day at all. Okay. So anyway, but that's it, guys. Again, I don't want to keep you too long, but hopefully this was helpful. Drop some comments in the comment section if you have questions. Other than that, love on your loved ones. You never know, you won't be able to do it again. So take advantage of each and every opportunity. And as always, I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later.